Cowboys, Packers, huge game here. James Franklin just kind of choking when it matters, right?
Time for a change in Happy Valley.
What do you think that would have to go down for Pulisic to win?
To start this off, I'm going to say he can't win it this season, even if he has has a fantastic season.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the From the Stands podcast. We are back for episode number 81 on this October 2nd of 2025. Finally, fall. We have a jam-packed episode for you guys. But before we get into that jam-packed episode, it would mean a lot to us if you guys liked and subscribed and do all the things on the YouTube and the Spotify and rated us and everything. It really helps us out quite a bit. But yeah, without further ado, Fezzy boy, what do we got coming up in this jam-packed episode?
We got a big week in the NFL that just passed, week 4, but no game bigger than Micah Parsons returning to Dallas. I know we both had our eyes on that game. AJ Brown, not so subtly asking for a trade, ? And then Mahomes, Chiefs, they're back, supposedly. And then looking back at some college football, Oregon, walk-off pick against Penn State. Maybe a change in Happy Valley. Franklin not getting it done against the big teams.
We'll see.
I don't know. And then we're going to finish it off with some football over the pond. Liverpool taking their first hit of the season in the Prem and the Champs, dropping 2 games for the first time back-to-back under Slot. And then my boys in blue struggling once again. But Arsenal taking a step in the right direction, getting a huge win against Newcastle. All that coming up next. Let's get it.
NFL Week 4 just concluded, I guess a couple of days ago. We had some very, very good games over this past week. We're actually going to switch it up a little bit this week and start with the biggest games first instead of chronologically and how they happen. So we're going to actually start out with my Cowboys.
Yes, sir.
Cowboys, Packers. Huge game here.
Massive.
Honestly, I was expecting us to get blown out.
Everybody was.
Yeah, I have so many Packers friends for whatever reason. I was like, I told every single one of them, I was like, if y'all don't put up 35 or 40 against us, like, you're failing. And they actually did put up 40 points. So impressive. But we also put up 40 points. Dude. So absolutely massive game. Going into overtime, eventually tying. First time that I think, as long as I've been a Cowboys fan, we've tied a game. So that's a little bit of a interesting wrinkle there. But I guess I'll throw it over to you before I give my 2 cents on the whole thing. Obviously, Micah coming back, only credited for 1 sack, which was like game winning. Yep. But I mean, there wasn't like a huge loss or anything like that, but did prevent a touchdown, at least in my opinion. But I think the story here is more just the Cowboys defense not being able to stop a nosebleed. So
dude, for real,
so tough as far as my Cowboys defense goes.
Yeah, I mean, the Packers offense, everyone thought it was like super great, week 1, getting that big win against the Lions. But like after that, it's really just hasn't looked good. Their defense is still really good. But here's the thing. I'm just so confused after this game because I'm like, obviously your defense is bad. So it makes the Packers offense look way better than it probably is. But then the Packers defense is like really, really good. And you guys dropped 40 on them.
Yeah.
Like, that's impressive. And I guess I'll just throw it right back at you because, I mean, you being the Dallas fan, I would be frustrated because it's like, Jerry after the game was saying, like, we have what we have and they have what they have, alluding to Micah Parsons being like, well, we still tied. So, like, look at us. We're doing all right. But it's like, if you guys had Micah Parsons, you guys would low-key be like a sneaky, contending team because it would be helping out your defense so much if you had someone who could get to the quarterback.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's definitely the most frustrating thing about the season so far is like our defense wouldn't be completely fixed, obviously, with Micah.
Right.
Like our secondary is still just an absolute train wreck, but he'd at least be pressuring the quarterback a little bit on some of these dropbacks. Like you're just seeing Jordan Love with hours in the pocket to be able to just, tear apart our defense. But yeah, that's definitely the most frustrating thing. Like Jerry's went on after the game and he was like, yeah, Dak's like indispensable. And I just didn't feel like that with Micah and everything. So he's just kind of, doubling down on his decision and everything, which you expect from Jerry. But yeah, I mean, just kind of what you were saying, like it is so frustrating. Like Dak is leading the league in passing yards right now. He's right there in passing touchdowns too. So he's playing at an MVP level, at least these first 4 games of the season. And our offense is looking incredible. Like so much of that is Schottenheimer kind of revolutionizing the play calling and everything. I just love our just our play calling and situational play calling is so much better than it was with McCarthy. We have a run game, which we didn't think we were going to have at the beginning of the season. And we got Pickens. Obviously, he's a dog. That was a trade that was won by us. I think we can say.
Oh, absolutely,
at this point.
absolutely.
Even though it's only been 4 games, but and if CD comes back, like, but it doesn't matter if we're putting up 40 points and our defense is giving up a whole bunch of points too. So, we just need one stop and we can't even get that. So,
Right.
yeah, super frustrating. It's unfortunate. This is going to be maybe another wasted year of having a great offense and not a great defense. Again, Dak, like, I'll just take a second on Dak just really fast.
Dude,
Like,
huge.
bro, if he was a quarterback on any other team, I'm telling you, his legacy, like, people would love, like, he would be like Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Like, insanely good quarterback, has all the stats, always in the MVP conversation, at least when he's playing good and has a full season under him.
Definitely in it this year for sure.
So far, yeah. Like that one throw he had to Turpin. Goodness gracious. Like,
the dude has a screw in his hamstring, bro, and he's extending plays like that. The dude is
incredible catch by Turpin too. Just
Yeah.
the toe tap and everything, like super impressive stuff by him. But
Mhm.
the way that he's playing so far is special. But yeah, the biggest thing is going to be just trying to figure it out on defense. If we can do anything, we get just a couple stops a game against anybody, we could be winning these games.
Yeah.
But it's just unfortunate we're having to put Dak in. Like, you have to score every single drive or else we're not even going to be in games. So
Right.
but I wanted to get your 2 cents too on like the very last play with the Packers almost blowing it at the end with that passing play. They got super lucky there was a second left because a lot of people were saying the Dallas the clock coordinator or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, in normal circumstances, he's running that last second.
What are you
off,
doing?
and
Exactly.
at least having to review it. So almost choked it away there.
Dude, for real. And this is the biggest thing that people criticize Jordan Love for is like these simple, like immature mistakes. Like, what are you doing? Spike the ball. You don't have a timeout. Like, give yourselves 2 goes at it. But like, because they ran the clock down and like you're saying, super lucky that they didn't just bleed the clock out. Like, they could have easily just like 000, game over.
And they had no idea what they were doing. Their receivers weren't even like, they were barely lined up in time. Like, I was listening to Get Up like after it happened, and Rex Ryan was saying that they were in illegal formation like 3 plays in a row and just didn't get called for it. So they were disorganized. I don't know whose call it was to actually throw it in the end zone, whether it was Love or it was LaFleur. I'm not really sure, but they got lucky in my opinion.
It definitely wasn't LaFleur because like you saw like the clips afterwards. He's like looking at Jordan Love. He's just like, "What are you doing, man?"
Yeah,
like we literally just almost lost the game. And that's another thing. I know we're going kind of long on this point, but just you guys should have beaten the Eagles if CD didn't drop that ball. And like
balls, but yeah,
like and like with this mistake, like if the clock hits 000, you guys win this game too, and you're looking at a totally different season. What do you guys right now? Like
we're
1-3?
1, 2, and 1.
Oh, that's right. You guys tied 1, 2, and 1.
Yeah, so that's going to be a weird one at the end. The rest of the season. But yeah, I mean, I totally agree. Like, it's just our defense is going to be the question mark. And we signed Jadeveon Clowney. He looked fine, but like at this point, we're not going to get
fine's not going to win you games.
Yeah, and like again, like the what ifs if we would have kept Parsons. Like again, he would have made us better. But I think if we had Parsons on the team, we win that game. Like he does enough to get us over the finish line. And with the offense playing like it is now, like I think Micah Parsons changes it enough. He gets enough hurries. He gets enough, sacks possibly to swing that game in our favor. And the last thing I'll say too, I think the Cowboys game planned wonderfully for this game with Micah Parsons. Like obviously he was going to be the story the whole time. He had technically 1 sack, which like tackled him at the line of scrimmage, saving a touchdown. But otherwise, he was basically a non-factor. He kind of got hurt a little bit early in the second half, but the game plan was perfect. They were double teaming. They were bootlegging away from him. They were running away from him. So, like, I don't think that the game plan could have been any better. Knowing that he was there. Yeah, exactly. And probably Jerry too. He's like, whatever you do, man, just don't give this guy a legacy game here against us. So, but yeah, just unfortunate. It was kind of weird too that it was a tie. Yeah. I was like, I can deal with ties in soccer, but like in football, you felt so empty after that. It's like, okay, I just watched 2 hours of football and we tied. like
exactly.
amazing game and we tie. Like it's kind of weird feeling, but
I didn't even know that was the actual rules. I thought it was more. I thought again, you don't see it that often, so you like kind of forget the rules. But I didn't even. I forgot that like professional football games end in ties,
well,
and
most of the
collegiate games
time,
don't.
right? The most of the time they don't get it down. Like they don't use all of the time in the overtime, and then you have the college too, where they force them to do 2 points until
Hmm.
someone wins. And a lot of people were saying that after the game is like they need to switch it to that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. I
so
think so. Yeah, definitely. But moving on to the Chiefs and Ravens, a little bit of a heavyweight battle that didn't really turn into a heavyweight battle.
yeah,
It was kind of the Chiefs all the way.
dominating,
Lamar
dude.
Jackson going down with an injury. I think is it Cooper Rush?
Cooper Rush,
Wasn't he
yeah.
with you guys last year?
Long
AO?
time, dude. He was a good backup for us.
Yeah,
Dak going down, several times throughout the last 3 or 4 years, and he's come in and been really good. But
yeah. You guys won a couple games with him last year, didn't
bunch
you?
of game. Well, not last year, but 2 years ago when
Hmm.
Dak got hurt for the first half of the season, he went like 7-1. Like he was doing really well, and then Dak came back and we had a good season. But yeah,
Right.
anyways,
Yeah. Some people are saying that the Chiefs are back. Obviously, having Xavier Worthy back after that injury
huge,
in week
dude.
one, massive. Some like it was touch and go there for a second. Some people were saying he was going to have to get surgery and he was
Yeah,
going to be out for the rest of the season, which would have
he
been.
didn't even look hurt in this game.
He didn't. You could tell there was a couple times like he was running down the sideline and he would go out before he got hit, just kind of like managing that injury. But other than that, like, I
I
mean,
mean, they were looking for him early too. Like he wasn't on any kind of like restriction either.
no.
Like they were looking at him early and often. So
And a stat that stuck out to me, just to show how bad their running game has been, is Xavier Worthy was their leading rusher in that game, which was like in
yeah,
front of Kareem Hunt and Pacheco and all that. But I think one of the things that really helped them was Patrick Mahomes did not have to take off and run in this game. He had options, which he didn't
yeah.
have in the last 2 weeks. But yeah, just kind of wanted to get your 2 cents on this. Like, do you think this is the step in the right direction where they just kind of start rattling off wins and kind of take back that division?
Honestly, yeah. I mean, despite the Chargers, strong start, they started out 3-0, dropped one to the Giants, which we'll get to in a second. But they're only one game back now of the Chargers.
That's
Obviously, they play them
insane.
again. And like I kind of saw this coming. Like all the Chiefs needed was to get a weapon back. Like they didn't have anybody to throw the ball to. Now they get Xavier Worthy back, and they look like same old Chiefs with that deep ball threat.
Yeah.
Obviously, Xavier Worthy is one of the fastest players in the NFL, period. So he's getting the
Hmm.
ball coming off end arounds and stuff like that. So it just looks like the offense is completely revamped basically with him in the lineup. Mahomes is actually protected for the first time in like 2 years,
Yeah.
it feels like.
Yeah.
So he's able to, just step back and actually have time to throw the ball, get out of the pocket when he needs to. So yeah, I can really see the Chiefs really just rattling several off here. Like they got, a tough game on Monday night with the Jags, but if it's going to be the same old Chiefs, then look out. Because I mean, the defense is going to be right there too. Like they picked Lamar
Yeah.
off that crazy pick that I texted you about.
Hmm.
And like we got Rashee Rice coming back week
I know. What
7.
are they like
So
2 weeks out from that?
yeah,
Yeah.
like it's right around the corner. So I mean, scary hours, bro.
I hate it, man. Like no matter how bad they seem,
I know.
but that's just the signs of a good organization, like, and a good coach and a good quarterback. Like no matter how down they are, they find a way to turn it around, like all the time. But like, how much of the offensive success was themselves, or I mean, Baltimore's defense is literally
Fair.
like it's Dallas's defense, and then like maybe Baltimore's defense. You could almost interchange them. They're
Yeah.
really bad.
And Ravens were supposed to be one of the best defenses in the NFL. And I understand that the Ravens are depleted really both sides of the ball at this point now with Lamar going down as well. But
Right.
I think two things can be true at once. Like a lot of people were talking about who needs this game more, and a lot of people were saying the Ravens, just because the Chiefs had weapons coming back. But obviously a depleted defense already with several injuries. But I also think that it's also the Chiefs surging up. Like they've got their mojo going.
Yeah.
Um, just with Xavier Worthy in the lineup, they got a deep threat with that Tyquan Thornton guy.
Mm-hmm.
Kelsey's able to have more space, obviously, after that, even though he's a little bit older. So, yeah, like I said, I think two things can be true at once. I think the Ravens are really going to struggle, especially if Lamar's out. Obviously, that goes without saying, but they're struggling with him even in the lineup. So going 1-3, that's not great. So, yeah, I definitely think the Chiefs are going to be the Chiefs, kind of like what I've been saying. Like I never really quote unquote lost faith as much as people wanted to write them off. because either they don't like the Chiefs or they just wanted them to go away. I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately. So
Also, we have a special guest, Bentley. You'll see him popping in from time to time.
yeah,
He's hanging out with the boys
he
tonight.
is. He is.
Yeah, Chiefs coming back, and the Rasheed Rice is just going to open up. I think that's going to unlock Kelsey even more because, like you were saying, when Xavier Worthy was out, it was like he's the main guy, and I
Mahomes
mean,
threw for 4 tuds too,
I,
first time since like 23. So
yeah, it's insane.
I don't
It's
know, man.
insane. But another quarterback that's playing well, and a quarterback that is out and not playing well. Got to switch it over to the Steelers and Vikings in Dublin, Ireland. This was a. I didn't get to watch this game because obviously it was on early on Sunday, and we were both at church. But dude, the Steelers are looking all right. Not gonna lie,
Yeah,
not gonna lie.
yeah,
I mean, Aaron Rodgers is not being asked to carry a franchise like he was with the Jets. And then the Vikings, I mean, Carson Wentz played well. It was close there at the end.
yeah,
Our defense definitely stepped it up. For sure. TJ was playing well, which was huge for us. But this is kind of like what we were saying at the beginning of the season, like just the Vikings with KOC, like just kind of plug and play. Anybody. I don't know if we mentioned it on a podcast before, either last week or a couple weeks ago, but I think I told you like with JJ McCarthy, it's like the first time KOC as a head coach has a quarterback that has zero experience. He
mhm,
always does well with like a Daniel Jones type or a Kirk Cousins type, like someone that's been around the NFL for a long time. So Carson Wentz is definitely, I mean, he was in the MVP running back when the Eagles won and then he got hurt
that was several years ago, but yeah,
several years ago. So definitely not the player that he used to be, but
I was in college back then,
he's
brother.
dude, why does that make us sound
I
old
know,
back in college?
I
But
know.
how do you see the Vikings doing now with Carson Wentz at the helm? Is JJ
I
slated to come back anytime soon or
um, I'm not sure exactly his like injury status. I think he's only was only supposed to be out like a week or two, so I'm thinking that he'll probably be back soon. But if I was the Vikings, I would stick with Wentz. Like when JJ went down, I kind of thought that that was maybe the best thing that could have happened to the Vikings.
right?
Like
Yeah.
you can easily move to the experienced backup without having too much, you know, fanfare or whatever you want to call it. And he's looked better. Like obviously the Vikings offense has looked better with Wentz at the helm rather than with JJ. But um, ultimately, I don't think that this quite gets them to where they need to be. I think
Yeah.
their receivers are still gonna struggle to be consistent just because the Vikings quarterback play is going to be inconsistent. Like Wentz is a solid backup, and shades of if he can bring back shades of what he was like 6 years ago, maybe
Mhm.
he can get him to where they want to be at least contending. But other than that, I don't really see the Vikings doing too much with that. Unfortunately, I think the quarterback room. I think they're going to need to get a guy that's
Yeah.
going to really be able to elevate them. Unfortunately,
Who would you like to see there? You think they go calling for Kirk Cousins again?
dude, I don't
Like
know. I don't know how
little
much like
Kirko?
what how much of a difference Kurt gets you from Carson at this point,
That's
though.
true.
Like, I don't
True.
know. I don't know who you would go get. Like,
Older quarterback coming
and it would
off
probably be
injury.
the
Yeah.
same with Rodgers. Like, if they had Rodgers now instead of the Steelers, it might be kind of the similar thing. But I don't know, man. I watch highlights of the Vikings, and they just look disappointing every week, at
Mm.
least in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
Good defense that's gonna keep them in games though. Like their
yeah,
defense is really good. Kind of to your point though, like you kind of have to pull the trigger on one. Like if you're expecting JJ McCarthy to come back and you're gonna play him,
mhm,
Carson Wentz is not gonna do as well as he possibly can because the game plan this whole time is just like get by until we get JJ back. So it's not predicated around
yeah,
Carson Wentz.
right.
Where if you just say like, "Hey JJ, you've had injuries in the past, like like
Well, my thing with JJ, dude, is like people are saying like, oh, he's had flashes, he's had flashes. I'm like, he's played like two good quarters against like pretty bad opposition, in my opinion. Like, I'm not really sure, with the Bears, that was like the first game or whatever. Like, he played awful in the first half, came back for a solid second half. And then he played good against, I'm blanking on the team right now, but like, again, like, just not, I understand he's a rookie basically, and like, just kind of throwing him in there, but I don't know, like, he's still making dumb decisions and stuff,
yeah,
which is fine. Like, I'm not saying that he's gonna be a bad quarterback long term. He might be, he might not, but, like, that's just not what the Vikings need right now. So, that would be the biggest thing that I'm looking at. And then the Steelers, like, I wanna talk about them a little bit just 'cause,
Ballin'.
Not gonna harp too much on them, but just the biggest thing with them is like Rodgers' consistency, and what I mean by that is like not turning the ball over. Like he doesn't
Mhm.
just throw. He's always been known for not throwing like hardly any interceptions. So like keeping the ball safe and relying on a really solid defense
Mhm.
and a good run game all of a sudden with Gainwell popping off for a couple tutties. So that was solid. I think that the Steelers have the coaching,
Yeah, for
the
sure.
quarterback to like have enough. Like they're not like all world. Like they're stacked at every position like a Eagles or something like that. But I think that they have enough to make some noise.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've been really happy with Rodgers for sure. It's going better than I could have expected it to go because, like, I mean, he's what, 42 now? Something like that?
41,
41,
I think.
42.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely up there. I think he's the oldest, obviously the oldest player in the NFL. So it's definitely going better for Pittsburgh than we could have hoped. Kind of keeping it in the vein of young quarterbacks getting a start. Giants beat the Chargers, dude. I
Yeah.
did not see this coming. I know
No,
we talked about it on the pod last week, but you're kind of saying like, why start him against the Chargers, who are looking like one of, if not the best teams in the league? But
mhm,
obviously, Dart and Scadaboo had some things to say about that.
for sure.
Did you watch this game at all? Like, did you get to peek in on this
Bits
one?
and
Or?
pieces, like
Bits
when
and pieces.
Fox would cut to
Right.
the recaps or whatever of the games.
Yeah. This wasn't
I
on
obviously
like.
saw his touchdowns and stuff. I
Right,
saw
right.
that. So
Yeah. Obviously, this wasn't a game that they had at the beginning of the season where they were really going to like broadcast it everywhere, but
yeah.
it kind of became a talking point when they benched Russell Wilson for Jackson Dart. I wouldn't say it was Dart that really won them the game. Um, I don't know.
I mean, he rushed for one,
Played
threw for
well.
one. He
Yeah.
rushed for like 50 yards, so that was solid.
I would say it was promising for
Yeah.
sure. And like,
I mean, you're not going to expect him to do like 250 yards, 3 tuds, like
yeah.
be just, the general out there just like doing all this crazy stuff in his first start. But I mean, he's looked better than Wilson. Like I know Wilson put together basically one good game against my terrible Cowboys where he threw for like 400 yards, but Jackson Dart could probably do that at this point. So, but yeah, I think it was a solid game by him. I think I'm not going to say the Chargers are going to fall apart because they have so many good pieces there, but it's like so week to week. The NFL is like we were talking about the Packers 2 weeks ago, like oh Super Bowl bound, like not even they're stacked on defense. Their offense is crazy good, and now the Chargers like they looked good early on, but like if are the Chargers going to be the Chargers and just kind of like fall apart here? Like Herbert, this is like his 6th year in the league. Like he's basically at 500 in his career. Like doesn't have a playoff win. Like is he going to revert to where he's been,
Hmm.
or does he have enough weapons now and the coaching to really get him over that? So it'll be interesting to see where the Chargers go from here as well. And the Giants, it's crazy what you do when you actually play the guys that are good. So
Right.
with
Exactly.
Scadaboo and some of the young guys that they got in there, but they're gonna miss Neighbors a lot going down with a bad
Huge,
injury. So
huge.
another ACL in MetLife, man.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
crazy that
I
they have
know.
turf there still.
What's his name? Old, I can't. Beckham.
OBJ, yeah.
OBJ took to Twitter, kind of saying, we got to get rid of it, man. And it's surprising. Like, what's the point of having turf? Is it just
I
money?
texted
Like,
Jared, bro. Like it's the most mind blowing thing in my opinion in the NFL as a league right now. Is like we have all these billion-dollar teams, billion-dollar owners, and they're cheaping out on the turf versus grass, like
dude,
half the
I
league
don't
is.
get it, man.
And they're the funny thing is that they're out with all the turf for the World Cup next year.
Yeah,
And like, what
exactly.
are they going to do? Just like
Pull it up,
pull
throw
it up
some turf
as
in
soon
there,
as the World Cup is done and put the turf back? Like,
dude.
so dumb. And I understand it's probably easier for like all the concerts and all this stuff they have, but like the NFL is the product for these like
Yeah.
the money maker, the big one at least.
Hmm.
So the fact that they're not able to figure something else, because like plenty of the other stadiums have grass and they're always doing concerts and other stuff too. So kind of ridiculous in my opinion. But MetLife is like known for snatching Achilles and ACLs and all kinds of stuff now. So
Yeah, it's just
but,
yeah, it's definitely been known
but
for
Lamar
that.
got hurt on grass, so
Yeah, I mean,
or did he quit on his team?
Ooh, that's
We didn't get into that debate. when
we
were on
we
the
we did
on
not get into that, but hopefully he comes back soon because he's on my fantasy team. So thankfully I did not have Malik Neighbors. I know some people
Yeah, I
there's
stayed
just
away from him for some reason
there's
this
just a
year.
couple like
Thankfully.
just a lot of injuries this past weekend. I know we don't have it in the doc, we don't have to talk about it, but I mean Tyreek Hill going down for the season and a gruesome.
Yeah, that
Did
was
you see the injury?
yeah, yeah,
Uh
I saw it.
anyways,
I love that, like, who was it, Schefter, one of these reporters came out, was like, he reportedly, like, per source, like, dislocated his knee or whatever. I was like, what source do you need? Just watch the injury,
yeah,
and that would have confirmed it right there for
like
you.
bro, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure his knee's out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's supposed to look like that,
His
but
vibes afterwards were weird, though. He was, like, celebrating and clapping, all this
yeah.
stuff. Like, you want to seem positive after an injury, but it seemed a little,
They might as well
like he was
shot him up with something.
happy to be done with the Dolphins or something,
Maybe,
but I don't
maybe.
know.
Yeah, we can put all the Tyreek to the Chiefs rumors to bed now because he's
Yeah,
done for
he
the
thinks.
season. But yeah, not a good week for wide receivers.
No.
And none bigger than AJ Brown. The Eagles getting a gritty win versus the Bucks. Bucks are a good team. I know
Sure.
we were on here last week singing the praises of Baker Mayfield. They were in this, but the Eagles are just a wagon, man. I mean, and the biggest
Bucks are
thing is
just
they're not throwing
never
the ball.
out.
They're
That's
never out.
yeah.
No, I think we were talking about it last week too. Baker's like the last four, well, other than this past week, but the last 3 weeks prior, all of his games were like fourth quarter, driving down the field in like the last 2 minutes. So, I mean, he's clutch for sure. But the biggest news kind of coming out of that was the cryptic tweets coming out of AJ Brown posting some Bible verses. Kind of
Yeah.
um, I guess he's supposedly I don't even know if he professes to be a believer, I believe.
Okay.
But anyways, what do you make of the tweets that the signals that he's sending out to the Eagles
Yeah.
currently?
Not really sure. Like he's saying that it has nothing to do with, the on-field product and everything, but everything about the tweets is screaming that it does have something to
Right.
do with it. Um Crazy stat that came out of that game is that the Eagles didn't complete a pass in the second half. Hertz was 0 for 8. AJ Brown like barely getting the ball like this whole season, really. Like you think he had like 2 catches for like 8-9 yards or something in this game. So he's obviously not getting the ball as much as he should as a one of the top receivers in the NFL. I'm not really sure what to make of these tweets. Like I feel like players do this all the time where they're just kind of they put something out there to voice their displeasure and everything.
Right.
Like he did this last year. He wasn't getting the ball.
Yeah,
He like
reading
was
books
reading
on the
yeah,
sideline.
exactly. He was
Yeah.
reading a book on a sideline, and then like second half of the year, he was like getting touches everywhere. So we'll see if that happens again. But I think that second half stat is wild to me.
That's
Like
insane, man.
obviously, I've been on like just hating on the Eagles for being super one dimensional, tush push this and that. But like that, the fact that they couldn't even complete a pass in the second half is like when how far back do we have to get
To
get
where
to the
that's a
last
thing.
last time that happened? So I mean, whatever. They're 4-0. So and that's another thing with AJ Brown thing. Like, who cares, bro? You're 4-0.
Yeah.
Like, I was listening to Travis Kelsey, not their podcast, but just like a clip,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking about it, and he was saying like, just the fact that like, why do you care how many touches you get if your team is winning? That's all you should care about.
Right.
And I kind of agree with that. Like, who cares? Like, if the team was 2-2 and you weren't getting the ball, yeah, dude, that's one thing, completely
Sure.
understandable.
Sure.
But if you're 4-0, like, yeah, some of the wins are uglier, maybe not as conventional looking, but I'd be like, dude, great, 4-0,
4-0
Saquon, just
getting
keep
wins.
running it, dude.
Yeah, and I saw this thing. Someone was talking about it, and like after the Super Bowl last year, he was saying like, "How long is this feeling gonna last?" And he was like, "Oh, literally a day. Like I don't care." And he's like, "I don't really get my fix from winning. It's from demoralizing like corners and defensive backs."
Mm.
And so like, I mean,
Sounds like an ego problem.
yeah, it just sounds kind of like an ego problem. Like I would be like, dude, I have a Super Bowl. I'm on a team that's probably like in most betting markets gonna repeat, like the favorites to repeat.
Yeah.
We're winning games without me having to wreck myself. Like
Just shows you how stacked the Eagles are, like at every position.
so
You
stacked.
don't even have to throw to your two receivers that would be wide receiver ones on any other team, and you're still winning. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Must be a feel bad for the Bucks. Like we're not even playing you full strength right now, and we're still beating you. Like because like this is coming off of week 3 where AJ Brown was the reason they won the game against the Rams. Like They went into halftime. I think you saw
Yeah,
like
he had a
one
big second
target,
half,
and
yeah.
then giant second half. Like, what do you have? Like 180
Something,
yards or something like
yeah,
that.
exactly.
TD. It was just insane. Like
He got all of his yards for the season in that one half.
having a weapon like that and just not having like that's like you just said, not having to use him.
2 weapons like that on
I
both
would
sides.
kill to have AJ Brown on
Or
my team
Devontae Smith.
or Devontae Smith, man. But I mean, what are you gonna do when you just have riches upon riches as an organization, and then to top it all off, you have Saquon Barkley, who again has not had a good season yet either. Like I mean, comparatively to last season, who's gonna have a season like that? But
Yeah.
like what are we doing?
Do you think Hurts is struggling so far this season? 0 for 8 in the second half. Like, I understand they're not throwing the ball that much, but like you
This,
can't get a slant route or something going.
but this is the thing. Like, can you call it struggling when your team's 4-0?
Oh yeah,
Like,
you can struggle as a player and still have your team be good.
but like as dominant as they are, like if they were in like these super super
No, I
super
don't.
close games, and you're just like, okay, what are we doing? We're sneaking out wins, but like,
No, I know they're winning, but like when you have a stat like that where it's like 0 for 8
yeah,
and you can't complete a pass in the second half, like how much of that is on the quarterback? Do you think where you can't complete it?
right. What
So
do you think he has? Like, do you think
I'm
he has
not
to?
saying one way or the other. I'm just
Right.
questioning.
Yeah, no. And I'm kind of like answering with a question, like, what do you think he has to do to stop being like criticized? I mean, the man has a Super Bowl. He's outplayed Patrick Mahomes twice and came up
Well,
short in the first one they played Super Bowl they played against each other.
right.
Like,
So a lot of people, because when he came into the league, he struggled passing, and that
for
was like
sure.
known. He had an accuracy issue, and he actually fixed it, which is like pretty rare that he was able to fix that like
Mm-hmm.
during his career. Usually, like your accuracy is what it is, and you just kind of it's not something you can fix super quickly. But he fixed it, and obviously he was good for a couple of years there. But like, do you think that was like maybe an anomaly where like that wasn't like his normal play and he just like kind of turned it up and now he's kind of reverting back to his earlier days or
Yeah, it definitely could be the OC for sure. I mean, he's had 3 different
maybe
offensive coordinators in the last 3 years,
right.
and other than the 1 year where it was Kelsey's last year,
And he's proved that he can do it. Obviously, playoff playoffs last year he was doing really well. The Super Bowl in and of itself, really, really good game. So he's proven that he can do it.
yeah,
But can he do it like consistently where
mm,
they can rely on Hurts every because I remember like for like 3 years now, like the Cowboys game plan when we're like up to snuff with the Eagles is like get Hurts to throw the ball, get Hurts
right,
to throw the
yeah,
ball,
keep
get
him in the
Hurts to throw the
pocket,
ball.
yeah,
So like that's obviously not something that like you want to force him to throw the ball. So it's
mhm.
like, are we going back to that where it's just like constantly that's the conversation where that's how you beat the Eagles or like, so
I don't know, yeah,
because that's what the Chiefs did, and they actually
yeah,
did it pretty successfully. They
they
stopped
did,
Saquon,
yeah,
and then they just got gashed, obviously,
right,
by
exactly,
Hurts throwing. So,
exactly.
but
The
I don't know.
damage are already done in that Super
But
Bowl.
like you were
That'll be
saying, like
interesting.
how much they got to do if they keep winning. So who cares?
True, as long as you keep like winning fixes a
Like
lot of
Chris
things.
Jones, he was
So
yapping at him 2 weeks
yeah,
ago, and they're playing. He's like, you don't even have 100 yards in this game. He's like,
it's
well,
like
we won.
we won. So like, who really cares? So
Yes.
it'll be interesting to see if anything changes with AJ Brown coming up this week. Who do they play this week? Philly
I don't
versus.
know. I don't think it's a great team. I don't think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be another kind of like cakewalk team for them, anyways. But
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see just all the different games going on this week. I know we'll be watching, keeping an eye on that. But that'll be it for the NFL portion of the podcast. We're going to get into a little college football next. Huge weekend in sports. We had the Ryder Cup. We had some big matchups in the NFL that we just talked about. And then we had some huge matchups in college football. None bigger than Oregon and Penn State. This game coming down to the wire. Walk-off pick. I was actually watching the end of this game, and I saw the Oregon quarterback throw a pick, and I was like, dude, it's all over. Like deep in their territory too. And I was just like, dude, it's all over. First play, boom, dude, just like out of nowhere, reached up, grabbed the ball, and I was like, game's over. What the heck just happened? It was wild. Did you get to watch this game, and what were your thoughts on it?
I didn't watch that one as much just because the Georgia Alabama game was
True.
on.
Yeah.
So I was more locked into that one. And that one was like the Oregon game was like 6-3 for like the longest time.
Yeah.
So I was like, that game's not crap, but like I was like, I'm gonna watch Bama and Georgia,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
So I was kind of glued to that one. So it's kind of crazy that the Oregon game ended up being like 30-24. So they obviously
Mhm,
scored quite a bit in the fourth, and then in overtime, you kind of have to score or else you're gonna lose. So,
mhm.
but yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised by the outcome of this game at all. Oregon kind of has the better team on paper, at least. Penn State has the more experienced quarterback. Drew Aller's been there for a hot minute now. But yeah, kind of the tail of the tape that everybody's kind of used to. James Franklin just kind of choking when it matters,
Time
right?
for a change in Happy Valley? Like,
Dude,
what's going
something.
on?
The stats that were coming out of this were pretty wild. So after this game, he's 4-21 against top 10 teams. And
How do you
he's
still have a job?
against like Ohio State and Michigan, which are the teams you usually have to beat to
Yeah,
get anywhere in the Big Ten. He's 1-13 now.
dude.
So I mean, that's been known that James Frank. This is why everybody like they they pick against them in these big games just because everybody knows that James Franklin can't win the big game,
Mhm.
and he was so close this time, but Drew Aller just tossing a pick in overtime,
Yeah.
just solidifying what everybody else knew that Penn State just couldn't get it done, even on a whiteout night in Happy Valley.
How about Drew Aller? He's like one of those like top-rated quarterbacks that might come
Yeah,
out of this draft, which a lot of the top prospects this year have not played well. I know Klubnik coming in this year was supposed to be a high draft
yeah.
pick.
Is he even gonna
Arch,
get drafted at this point?
I don't know. Is he a senior? Does he like
Yeah, I think
he's
so.
he's
I
he's
think
done after this year. He has to be done, right? I
I
mean,
think so. Yeah.
I don't know. This quarterback class is looking kind of like, I don't know, just kind of as good as last year's quarterback class, which wasn't all that great. I
Mhm.
mean, I don't know, throwing that huge pick. Like, you got to see that guy there. I know he kind of came out of nowhere, but like,
Yeah, it was like triple coverage there.
yeah, like what are we doing? Like, you're going through your progressions and that's the one you go with?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, the thing is in college, like so many of these plays are like pre-scripted where the
yeah.
coach is probably telling you like on a lot of the plays, unless it's like a veteran quarterback, which Drew Aller is at this point, but it's like, all right, you're gonna throw it right here, right now.
Mhm.
So like it was probably one of those plays where he thought he was gonna have him wide open at X position, and obviously it wasn't like that. He's just kind of preconditioned to throw it there anyway, is my assumption. But yeah, just a terrible looking pick, and he kind of has that same reputation that Franklin does. As far as not being able to show up in big games, like whether it's the coach or the quarterback, probably a little bit of both. Like they just both have this terrible reputation not being able to elevate against big teams, and he's always throwing an untimely interception or not really showing up at all. I remember last year when they played Oregon, like he could barely complete a pass, so like he was
Mhm.
he was not looking great.
Did not look good at all. Someone that came out of this that I'm going to be keeping an eye on a lot now. Some people are saying running away with the Heisman. Dante Moore,
Hmm.
dude, going into Happy Valley and just like, dude, the composure that he showed was insane. 3 tutties, 250 yards, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
he was
this guy
solid.
might be the real deal.
Yeah, now that Mateer's not, he broke his hand or something like that at
Yeah, out like
Oklahoma.
4 or 6 weeks or something
Might
like
be a
that.
runaway because I mean that's I love Mateer, dude. Like obviously as an Oklahoma State fan, I kind of conditioned to hate Oklahoma, but
Hmm.
such a dog, dude. Love that guy. But yeah, I'm not really in tune with the Heisman race so far, just because I think it's a
Yeah,
little
same.
early to crown somebody. But yeah, I mean he's looking the part on the top 5 team. So
Yeah, to be completely honest, I get a lot of my information from the podcast that I listen to. I stay tapped in that way. There's just so many sport like, and I'm gonna be completely honest, dude. I was tuned into the Ryder Cup. I know we didn't put it in the pod, but I was watching that instead of football for sure. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean Dante Moore, a name to keep an eye on for sure. Coming out of Oregon was supposed to like this kind of supposed to be like a rebuilding year. Obviously, they were really good last year. Had
yeah,
a 1 seed in the playoffs last year. Didn't really come to anything because they got smoked by Ohio State in the playoffs. But
yeah, they did.
Dan Lanning's just out here.
I
He's such a
mean,
good coach, dude. Such a
yeah,
good
and
coach.
like NIL and all this new eras is like just perfect for Oregon. Like obviously they've got
Hmm.
the uniforms, they got the facilities, they got that like the Nike
That Nike money.
investment. Oh, dude, you can only imagine how much money is flowing through there with Nike right next door. So, and like they're gonna get 5-star recruits year in year out. Like they lose Dylan Gabriel, kind of the quarterback that's been leading them for a while. Like they're just gonna re up with more 5 stars. So I see them kind of solidifying themselves with the Ohio States and Michigans in the Big Ten, and then kind of being up there with those SEC squads that just doesn't matter. They don't really rebuild; they just kind of reload, kind of thing. So I
Yeah.
can see them just being good for a long time now. So
Yeah, definitely. They're not going anywhere for sure. A couple teams that aren't going anywhere for sure. Kind of not the teams of old, especially Alabama, but Bama versus Georgia, getting one over Georgia. Does the SEC still go through Bama, even though it doesn't seem like they're I don't know, we're kind of talking. They've kind of lost a little bit of their fear factor without
a little
Saban
bit.
there. Just an interesting team for sure, but turning around against a big SEC opponent in Georgia.
Yeah, and they've owned Georgia. I think they've won like 9 of the last 10 games for them,
Mhm.
so no matter what either one of them are doing, Alabama always kinda seems to have their number, and Georgia seemed to or they were the favorite going into this game being at home. They were coming in with a, I think, 33 game home winning streak or something dating back several years, but Alabama kinda putting a stamp on him early. Ty Simpson playing really good. He's another guy that's gonna come up big as far as the Heisman watch goes. I know just listening to the announcers on that game, just because he's even though Alabama, they lost that one game, and they haven't looked like the Alabama that's just putting up like 50 points every game.
Right, yeah.
He's looked very very good. I don't think he has an interception yet on the season.
That's
Consistently
huge.
doing his part. He's a great leader too and everything. So, but like I said, a bigger lead early for Alabama, not being able to do as much in the second half, but being able to resist a late surge by Georgia. I like Georgia's quarterback a lot, Gunnar Stockton.
Mhm, yeah.
Didn't have a great
Two-time
game
boy.
this time. Didn't throw for like crazy amount of yards or anything like that, but just consistently makes the right play. Big time runner kind of thing, kind of like a Tim Tebow of old when
Mm,
he was playing at Florida. So just a really great game overall, I would say. Just a solid SEC game, kind of what you would expect out of a game like this. And I think Alabama, like, even though they are not going to be the Alabama of old, where like they're literally just favorited to win every game by like 2 touchdowns almost.
mhm,
I think they're not going to be like one of those teams that's like down year where they're like 6-6 or whatever, and then like the next year they're contending again. Like they're not going to be like that. I think they'll consistently probably be at least ranked, which obviously is low standards for what they are used to. But I don't think they'll ever be like one of those teams that goes out, especially in the SEC. Kind of one of those storied programs at this point where they always get recruits based on just being Alabama. So, but DeBoer needed this win for
Oh,
sure.
huge, huge, yeah, if anybody was on the hot seat and I
Imagine
mean
them being 2-2, not ranked. Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, it's just it's the burden you bear when you take, you're the successor of the like, one of the greatest coaches
It's
in
always gonna be tough.
college football history, if not football history. Some people say he's like one of the greatest coaches to ever coach football. So
Yeah.
definitely big shoes to fill, for sure. But Alabama getting that huge, much needed win in the SEC against Georgia, keeping it in the SEC. Ole Miss knocking off LSU. Not sure if you can say knocking off LSU. Their rankings kind of say it's an upset, but not much of an upset.
Only
LSU,
reason LSU is that high is because they beat number 4 Clemson at the
yeah,
beginning
which
of
is
the year. So no.
not looking good at all right now. They
Right.
were both. It's looking like they were both kind of fool's gold at the beginning of the season. Just happened to open up against each other, and um, what they really are is starting to show for sure. But Ole Miss, I think this takes them, yeah, 5-0 on the season, 3-0 in the SEC for sure. Yeah, they're just kind of rolling. Jackson Dart gets a win in the NFL. Ole Miss gets a win on the weekend as well. I didn't get to see this game, so I didn't know if you had any thoughts on this game.
Yeah, a little bit. I was pretty disappointed by Garrett Nussmeier not being able to live up to his expectations for yet another year here. LSU coming in with national title expectations, obviously, kind of what you were saying. And Ole Miss, like Lane Kiffin, finally being able to hold on for one of these dubs. It feels
Yeah.
like they always find a way to either choke them away or just not being able to really squeak it out at the end. He was saying in the post game presser that I think they had LSU in a similar spot that they had him last year, and
Mm.
they choked it away. So it was good for them to get one this year. And Ole Miss, like I wasn't sure where they were going to go, but similar to what we were saying, these SEC squads, they don't really, rebuild, they just reload. So solid
Right.
win for them. And it is crazy though, like with the new playoff and everything. Like even though LSU lost, like you'd think that like
They'd
before
be
the
out.
playoff they'd
Yeah.
be out, or like it'd be like, oh man, really got to like win out from here on out. But like now it's like, okay, like
Yeah.
we have to win several of our games, but it's not like the end of the world like it used to be. So
Yeah.
similar with Georgia and Alabama, same
Yeah.
deal. So
And it goes a long way, like just being in the SEC, like your schedule just inherently is one of the toughest in the nation.
ranked
Like
every week.
ranked
Yeah.
every week that you're playing. And so it's like that goes a long way when it comes to the committee picking you to go to the playoff and stuff like that.
Well, it's like I don't know if you've seen those schedules online with like I think it's Florida and South Carolina. They play like a
Yeah,
top
yeah.
10 team like 4 out of the next 5
Yeah,
weeks or
it's
something. I'm
insane.
like, bruh,
Insane. Yeah, I
get
mean,
it
like,
any
yeah, it's
easier.
like Florida State versus Florida this weekend coming up, which we got to touch on. Florida State, Virginia knocking off Florida State, and not even that big upset. But did you see the memes going around about the Florida State wide receiver during
Oh yeah, gets
during the
trampled.
got absolutely like, well, you need to make sure that kid's okay, because like,
Literally.
dude, as soon as the ball hit the ground, just students
Not
rushing the
even.
field.
Like I
Not
saw a
even.
clip where it's like the ball is like maybe at hip level and there's already kids on the field. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, this is crazy.
And like the dude just disappeared. It was just like
Yeah.
he's on the ground. They didn't even let him
And
get up, bro.
And I've always thought that the storming that they've been trying to like kind of there's been conversations of banning for a little while has been so soft.
Yeah.
But if they do eventually ban it, this is the clip that they're gonna use
Oh,
because like
absolutely.
that was out of hand.
This clip, and then the Kyle Filipowski clip, Wake
Yeah,
Forest, like a
yeah.
couple years ago, where
He was kind of a pansy about it,
He
but yeah,
was, like,
he
he had-
definitely got roughed up a little bit.
yeah, but and he was like acting like he broke his leg, and then,
know.
then he's playing for Duke literally like on Tuesday the next week. It's like,
know.
brother, it really wasn't that
And
bad.
like
was
he's
it?
like 8 feet tall, so he's like everyone else at shoulder level.
Yeah,
Like, you can
exactly.
just see over everything.
Exactly.
Funny.
But we digress. Really quickly, we're gonna touch on this game meant a little bit more for Kiffin, huh? Some could say.
Yeah.
Obviously making the rounds, going viral. His daughter is dating LSU player Whit Weeks.
Yeah, star linebacker.
Probably felt good, the dad getting one over on the daughter's boyfriend for sure.
Yeah, this made big time pregame news in the week leading up because they waited till like this week to announce that they
of
were
course,
dating, which
of course.
is wild. But yeah, it just added, another little like wrinkle to the game and everything. And Kiffin's like, he's the kind of coach he's going to embrace all that and all the
Absolutely.
questions about it. He's like the first thing is like, I'm trying to find Wit. Like, where's he at? Like, I need to see him or whatever. So that was really funny. And yeah, I mean, there's not really much else to say. Just kind of wild that that would be even like
the topic.
I don't know. Like, would you feel like if you were coaching an SEC squad, like at the top of college football, like your daughter dating, one of the top linebackers in the country in college,
Right.
but like I don't know, like how would you feel?
I mean, yeah, that's a little weird. Like you're crossing enemy lines, especially in the SEC. That's like they're super tribal in like living in the South, dude. I didn't realize it when I lived in New York because like there's other things in New York, but like dude, down south, dude, you bleed the color of your school. So it's like, yeah, Kiffin letting his daughter date like an LSU linebacker, like bro, like I don't know. So yeah, but like I said,
pick one of my players.
Yeah, exactly. Like Ole Miss not good enough for you. Like what's going on?
But like you're saying, like it's serious, man. These SEC schools and everything. Like even if if she was just dating like somebody else, just rando at like Ole Miss, like they'd probably be like, oh,
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
So, yeah.
But let alone it's LS freaking you. Like, what are we doing? But
yeah, and their best player, like maybe it was like the distraction technique of Kiffin.
Maybe,
and it worked.
Yeah, maybe she's working for Ole Miss.
She's gonna break up with him like this week.
Yeah, break up with him right. I don't know. That could work against you. Break up with him before a big game, and he just like pops off or something.
Yeah,
like,
did you see him like throwing up during the game and stuff?
I did, yeah.
That was
He's like
wild.
throwing up like mid game. I'm like, bro, did she slip him something? Like, is he feeling all right?
Just felt like a movie the whole time.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna make the next family dinner that he's invited to a little awkward for sure. But yeah, just a little lighthearted thing to end the college portion of the podcast. It's just so funny, dude. The internet will forever be undefeated. Just the memes
for sure.
Dude, I just saw all the memes after that game. It was just so funny. I was just like sitting there like
Of course, it
laughing
would
at
be
all of them.
Kiffin too.
It would be
Like,
Kiffin,
he's
dude.
such a personality,
I'm
man.
not on Twitter, but like you see tweets pop up, and he's just so funny.
He'd be wilding out there,
He's
dude. Like the stuff
wilding.
he says.
So, but
Crazy.
hey, his team's 5-0, man. So he's happy. He's happy for sure.
Yeah.
But with that being said, that's gonna do it for the college football. Gonna definitely be keeping up with our teams. Oklahoma State, how are they doing?
Terrible,
Yeah,
dude.
same.
Terrible.
Cuse just got mollywopped by Duke, so
Yeah.
that's why we didn't
After a
put.
big win at Clemson.
But Clemson's nothing
No, I
apparently.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Oh no, Okie State is 1-3. Obviously, we
yeah, and they
fired our
just
coach of
fired your
23
coach. Yeah,
years. Not great.
tough. Not looking good for our teams for sure. But like I said, that'll do it for the college football portion of the podcast. Moving on to some soccer next.
Hopping over the pond for a little football. We're gonna start out in England. Chelsea. Chelsea.
I think we should just end the podcast
Just
right here.
another L on the schedule here for the Blues. Love to see it. I feel like we're talking about that every single week on the podcast now. We have an L for Chelsea to talk about. Pretty spicy one in the Prem here with Brighton. Always talk about them being a feisty team, a team that's not easy to beat. And that was the case in this one as well. You guys seem to have them beat despite being a man down. You go up early with an Enzo Fernandez goal. Pretty solid. Trevor Chalobah getting a direct red card. I think it was a direct red card.
Yeah, straight up.
Danny Welbs, bro. 77-minute. And then they get another one in the 92nd by Maxime de Kuiper. I'm not even sure how to pronounce that. I know that's rare for me. And then another Danny Welbeck in the 99th minute here. So Danny Welbeck got to be at least 40 by now, but he's still got bagging goals against Chelsea in the Prem.
Dude,
How do you feel about it?
it's not good when you get beat by the team that you literally buy all their players from. Like that's literally where we go shopping like 90% of the time, and it's just
80 mil every summer. 80 mil. 80
dude,
mil.
and we gotta stop getting red cards, man. Like again, I think I texted you after this game, and I was like, you were kind of asking like, what's going wrong? It's like ever since Thiago Silva left, we have nobody that's there to just like, yo, like fix what you're doing. Like we're just all a bunch of young guys, but like, it's not even just young. Like even some of like the more experienced players we have, they're just not the leadership type, and that is what we're missing. And when I've said it multiple times on the podcast. We play to the level. Actually, we play below the level of these teams that we should be beating, and then we only show up against the teams. Hence, the Club World Cup against PSG, one of, if not, was the best team in the world at that point. Probably still are. And we ended up beating them like pretty handily too. And it's just like it just shows our immaturity, and it's just so frustrating because we had so much potential. We have so much potential. But we just drop games like this in sloppy fashion too. Red cards, giving up late winners. Like, I'm just over it, man. I'm over it.
Yeah. No, I definitely like when you said that, it definitely made sense. That I mean, you really don't have a guy that's kind of like been there, done that. Like even if he's not like a former legend like Thiago Silva, just like a vet that like knows how to act professional, like knows what it's like to win. And just kind of like being able to rally the troops and really be able to lead a team, I think is something that they were definitely missing. Like even just a guy that's going to ride the bench the whole time. Like I'm not even sure who I would really use. Like we had Jorginho for like a long time. Barely would get a game here and there.
Yeah,
but he was kind of like that savvy vet, for a young team that's able to lift them up and kind of be able to direct them and stuff. Chaka, in his later days with Arsenal before he went to Bayer Leverkusen, just guys like that for Arsenal, I think have been important to us. I don't think Chelsea have that. Like they had that with Thiago Silva, obviously. I think that he, in his later years with Chelsea, he was that guy where you guys weren't doing quite as good, but you were still able to get better results maybe than you would really expect.
Our Champions League run.
Yeah, exactly.
He was back there.
Exactly. And I think PSG gave up on him too, really thinking he's going to decline. And he went to Chelsea and just rattled off more, legendary performances. But yeah, it definitely makes sense. But yeah, I mean, once they got the red card, and it's like understandable a little bit that you're changing your game plan. You're not going to play the same, that you were before. But you'd think that you'd be able to close up shop for 30 minutes here
Right.
and just close out the game. But not only did they concede, one goal, but three. So
Hmm.
not a great look for not just your defense, but the team as a whole. So
Yeah. It's such a tough look. Like, again, we say all the time, on paper, Chelsea should be good, but I mean, we are on the days that we choose to be, and that's the most frustrating thing. We got to show up against the Brightons. We got to show up against the Crystal Palaces. Like, we just got to.
yeah,
We got to. But I mean,
eh,
Crystal Palace,
yeah.
they might actually be good.
Yeah, yeah, they're sitting in 3rd place right now. Still early days. Kinda same with the NFL. You don't really know who's gonna be who yet, but
Right.
Chelsea kinda languishing mid-table-ish right now, 8 points in 6 games. Not really what you were expecting after a big Club
Absolutely
World
not.
Cup dub. And you guys got Liverpool at the weekend, so not gonna get any easier, at least not this weekend that's coming up,
Might be
so
a get right for Liverpool after this
maybe,
last week.
maybe, or maybe a get right for you guys. Liverpool, two games in a row, they're struggling. So, it's a great segue into Liverpool dropping points, not just dropping points, but losing to Crystal Palace here. So pretty big loss. Super late. Eddie Nketiah coming over from Arsenal on a permanent deal now with Crystal Palace, but can you imagine, dude, if that was big in the title race eventually? Like an Arsenal guy going over to Crystal Palace and back in the goal in the 97th minute to win against Liverpool.
Mhm.
I know that Liverpool definitely like just hanging on for a tie there at the end because they got their goal later in the second half as well. So I think that they were okay with the tie away from home. Then Nketiah had other plans.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was like I didn't even believe it when I saw it. It was like Crystal Palace actually beat Liverpool.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody really saw that coming because they beat Liverpool for what was it, the Supporter Shield at the beginning of the
Yep.
season,
Yeah.
and
And penalties.
that's kind of like one of those. It's not a friendly, but it's like a tune-up for the season, and so people didn't really take that with a grain of salt. And
Yeah.
like you alluded to, they were losing players at the transfer window at that time, so it was like, how strong are they really going to be? I don't know. They just kept up their form, man. Like you said,
And
third.
they sold all their good players
Yeah,
too.
and they sold
So
all their good players. So, like, how good are you going to be after that? But obviously, the manager that they have is getting the most out of that squad. Obviously, we can be happy because we got an American boy playing well for them in the back line.
yeah.
But Arsenal, you should thank them because, like, I mean, if Liverpool won that game, they would have been like what,
Yeah.
3-4 points clear of you guys,
More than that, because
more
they
than
were
that.
5 points clear at the beginning of the weekend, so we won.
Oh, right,
So now I think we're 2 points down, but,
yeah.
other than that, it would've been still 5, so
But I mean, like you said, it's early days in the season, so like Crystal Palace sitting in
yeah,
third, that's a cool story. Can they hold on to that? We saw who was it? Not
Nottingham
Tottenham last
Forest.
year. What yeah, Forest last year, who was kind of like holding on for a really long time. They were holding on to like
Yeah,
a Champions League
yep,
spot, ended up losing it
yeah.
there at the end. But good for Crystal Palace. We love to see some of these smaller clubs do well, making a push at the top.
Yeah, if I were a betting man, I'd probably say that they're gonna, drop down, but, we've only played, like, 5, 6 games, but I think Liverpool, like we were talking about at the beginning, like, yeah, they had won like what 5, 6 games in a row there, but they were scraping by, like leaving it super late, like
Hmm.
1-0s, 2-1. So they were they're winning their games, but just scraping by as well. And like this game against Palace, like it's not even like they were resting their guys for a Champions League game or anything like that. Like they played their full
Right.
strength squad and still fell a little bit short. So and they lost again in the Champions League as well with again their full strength squad. So maybe it's a little bit of a evening out a little bit with the beginning of the season versus some of their luck being a little bit more even now, I would say. But my Gunners get a very late winner at
Huge.
Newcastle as well. We were heading straight towards a 1-0 loss, and then we come storming back. Love to see it from my Gunners. It's kind of been a theme these last several years, I would say, with just being I guess not necessarily losing games we should win
Not
because
finishing games.
yeah, exactly, like Newcastle's a good team and everything, but yeah, not being able to finish games, not being able to take the chances when they're there. So I love to see my Gunners get a dub here, but I will say, just being like a fair fan, I guess,
Analysis is
dude,
good.
the we're obviously really good at set pieces, and I love that now, but like the stuff that we do at set pieces now, like where it's kind of illegal. Not gonna lie, like we block the keeper.
You're messing with the keeper a
Yeah,
lot.
dude. Like
Yeah.
we're messing with the keeper, blocking him, and then Gabriel or Saliba come in with a big header, and we score, which is great. Like obviously I love that, but like it's only a matter of time before they start calling us for it because it is illegal. We're putting two guys on the goalkeeper blocking him,
Yeah.
and like every time we do that, like all the other team and for good reason are like around the ref being like, hey, they fouled our guy. Fair enough, I would say. Um, so I don't love that. I don't love that we're like relying on that to score now, especially on these set pieces. Because on the set pieces, it used to be like, oh, we're just really good at set pieces, but now we're just kind of like bending the rules a little bit, which I don't love. So
Right.
I'd love to see us like get back to like actually scoring real goals on set pieces. Because like I said, it's only going to be a matter of time before they actually start calling us for some of those. Because I mean, it's not going to be forever. So
Yeah. How
definitely.
sustainable do you think that is to just keep getting goals from that? I think it's a little more sustainable than what Liverpool was doing, like leaving it late and stuff like that. But
I mean,
like you're saying, it's
yeah, one of my frustrations is like a lot of our goals, at least in the last 4 or 5 games, like haven't come from open play. Like we've been getting, penalties and a lot of set piece goals and things like that, which is great. But I don't like us, having to rely on that because Gyökeres was bagging them early. Like he scored
yeah.
a bunch of goals the first 2 or 3 games, and then not necessarily struggled. I just don't think he's had quite the amount of chances that he had in those first few games. But I definitely don't think it's sustainable for the long run. That's not how you want to be relying on getting your goals long term, especially in a stacked Champions League and a Premier League campaign.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's definitely not what you want to see. And like you said, when the refs start calling that, like where your goals are going to come from. So, um,
Yeah,
but
and
good,
like
good to see
my
you
thing
guys.
is too. Like I talked to one of my Arsenal buddies, and he's like, "Oh, I don't care. Like they call Arsenal for like everything and blah 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 blah." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean that's maybe true, but like you don't want to be winning like that. Where like
No,
you not only you know leave opportunity for people to cast doubt on the legitimacy of your team and legitimacy of your winning, but also like, all these goals that you're scoring. So it's just, yeah, it's weird.
yeah, it's definitely weird for sure. But I would take the winning over what Chelsea's doing right now for sure.
Yeah.
Moving it along to some Serie A. We're gonna run through a couple of the other bigger leagues really quickly, and then finish off with some Champions League. Milan, top of the table. Good to see them at the top, even though they're
Yeah.
not playing. They can kind of throw all their eggs in one basket.
Yeah,
Obviously, not
exactly.
being in Europe at the moment. Did they even make Europa?
No,
What?
no
Dang,
European football, which is
nothing.
crazy with the amount of opportunities there are in a big league now to
Yeah,
make
that's
it.
insane. Just showed
Choking
how
away the Copa too, the Coppa Italia
yeah.
should have beat them to at least get Europa League. But
It just shows how poor they were last year
yeah,
for sure. But someone who's kind of keeping their form up from last year, regardless, Pulisic, our American boy, playing super well, leading Serie A in scoring at the moment. He's also I'm not gonna get the stat right, so I'm totally paraphrasing, but I think he has the most goal contributions in Serie A since I think like 2023.
hmm,
So obviously balling out, and he definitely should be. A lot of people are saying this is the form that we needed to see after he took that small hiatus
yeah.
from playing with the national
Yeah, he
team.
better come out firing because
Better
otherwise
better come out
all of
firing.
America is gonna be like, bro,
Dude, and
what were you doing
I
on the
think I've
beach?
I think I've said this before, but what really makes me happy about his form now is before he was scoring against like these mediocre small teams in the Prem when he was with Chelsea, but also when he got to Serie A at first, like he wasn't even scoring against like Roma's, no, he wasn't scoring against Juventus, Napoli, anything like that.
Yeah,
He this past weekend against Napoli, he had 2 assists and a goal, I think,
hmm,
or assist and a goal, something like that. But he's like contributing against these big clubs, and even in the Champions League last
yeah.
season, was playing really, really well. So I know you're not ready to give him the world class title yet, and I don't think I'm quite there yet either. We got to see a little bit more. I think we
I
say that all the time, but
well,
like,
I think it just depends on what you consider world class. Like, how big is your bowl as far as like who you're throwing into world class? Is it just
right,
everybody that's like can lead a team kind of thing, or is it like, all right, world class is like your top three at your position in the entire world? And that's like kind of more where I lean, where like, if you're a winger, like, who are the best wingers in the world right now? Like, let's say, just for argument's sake, I'm not saying he is based on form right now. Whatever. Let's just do strikers. Let's say it's Erling Haaland, Kylian Mbappe. Let's put him as a striker because he's been playing that for a little while. And like who? Robert Lewandowski's still world class. Like those are the guys that I'm thinking of when I'm saying like, is he world class? And I don't think Pulisic is at that level for where he's at least at his position.
Hmm.
Like he's doing great leading a Milan team who's been bad. Like
Yeah,
you can't say like I mean, you can say that there's a player that's world class on a bad team, but like they haven't been good for a while. And if he's the leader, like he's not being able to really lead them in a way that gets them to winning. So I
absolutely.
still pump the brakes a little bit on that. It's had a great start to the season. I think, like I said, even last year, I think that's the no Europe is really going to benefit them. Just not as many games. You're able to focus week to week. You have a whole week to focus on your next opponent, get rested, all that stuff. I think Modric is helping out that team.
Huge,
He
huge.
got his first goal, I think, sometime in the last 2 weeks. So that was big time for him. And yeah, so just getting back. Leao, I think he's been missing a little bit in and out of the squad early on in the season. So I think that they can definitely be challenging for that title, though, is just with the scheduling, like we talked about, and just getting some of those, some of their better players playing up to their level. I know that they got rid of a lot of players. There's a lot of turnover this past year, but they've shown so far that they can swing it with the big boys. So hopefully if Pulisic can do this like the whole year going into the World Cup and like
Yeah,
Milan is like at the top of the table, that would say a lot. So
yeah. I definitely, and this is a side note really quick, but like, could you see freaking America just like getting their hands into the Ballon d'Or and like
oh my
somehow like
goodness.
manipulating it to like, in a year that we have the World Cup, that like, I don't know. I would hate to see that. Like the first time an American wins it, it's definitely like this giant political money grab, and it's just
Maybe.
it would be awful.
What would an American, like, let's say
Have to do.
just because Pulisic is like let's say our best player in the best position to do it, like what would he have to do to win it, you think?
Yeah, this was making the
Because
rounds on the internet, so it's an
oh
interesting
really?
question.
I
Yeah.
didn't even see that. But like because I think like and I'm not anti-American players, but I definitely give them not as much credit as they probably deserve just because,
Mm,
you know, I'm a little bit more like pump the brakes on all this stuff. But like I do think that there would be a stigma as far as like maybe a Ballon d'Or of like giving an American
yeah.
that. It's like what do you think that would have to go down for let's say Pulisic to win?
Yeah. To start this off, I'm gonna say he can't win it this season, even if he has
Well,
a
yeah.
has a really, really, really like a fantastic season, because they're not in the
I'm
Champions
just saying
League.
like let's say next
Right.
5 years
Right.
in theory.
Obviously. What you have to do is play like a little better than he's playing now and keep that up over a span of like, if he plays like this for the next 5 years, he'll definitely be in the conversations, but he would have to have seasons like he's having. But then he would have to be the reason that Milan wins, not just a Scudetto, but they'd have to win like a Champions League.
Yeah.
Like that would have to be a must. There has to be like a top
Have
tier.
to win champs?
I think so, because like
Wow.
kind of like what you're saying, there's a stigma with Americans. So like he has to break that stereotype.
Hmm.
Like he has to blow it out of the water for it to be like,
So he'd probably have to like lead them in scoring in Serie A, probably
yes,
lead them in scoring in Champions League and
yes.
win Champions League.
He would have to be the reason they're winning, and
And
he would have to do it at a pretty
and
high
Champions
clip.
League, you'd have to pair that with at least one other trophy on the season, right?
Right? Yeah.
So
Which I don't know. You'd have to get. I don't know what
at least Copa or something in
Coppa
there.
Italia, yeah, something like that. I think it's a tall task for sure. And like I was saying, he can't get it this year because they're not in Europe, and so like
Yeah.
he would have to do what he's doing, double that, win the Scudetto, be the reason they do that, and then make a run in the World Cup. Which
Yeah. I don't know.
like they
I
would
don't
have to
even
make
know if he can stay
they would
healthy that
they would
long
have
to do
they would
it.
have to make the semis in the World Cup to even have a shout.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna.
Yeah, that's true. Like if he does really well in the World Cup, like let's say hypothetically, you know, he leads Milan all year and all that, like maybe if he
Maybe
I just don't see America
no,
going far in this World
dude.
Cup. But
Dude, we might get grouped, but that's a story for another day.
just interesting kind of a thought exercise to like how much it would actually take for them to give it
How
to an
much?
American. That would be because I mean, the award barely even gets out of Europe,
Yeah,
period.
exactly.
So, like, I'm trying to remember. If I think the last African to win it was like George Weah maybe in the 90s,
Mhm.
unless I'm blanking on somebody. Obviously, I don't think there's been an Asian to win it.
Yeah.
South American obviously has been some, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah, the
mean,
African, the only one that I can think of that came close was Sadio Mane when he was popping
mm,
off with, Liverpool, but
yeah, Salah's technically African. He's from Egypt. He's come close, like
yeah.
top 3 or 5.
I mean, I think the closest thing that we've ever had was, Christian Pulisic came in second for, like, what's
The Copa Trophy, the
the
young,
yeah, the young player, he came in second
yeah,
behind
second?
I think it was Jude that year that Jude won it. He came in
Really?
second. Yeah, I might have
I
to
don't
fact check
remember
it,
that.
but yeah, this was when he was I think I can't remember what season it was, but he was balling out with somebody and he came in second. We'll have to fact check that,
Interesting.
but yeah, it would take a lot for him to win it for sure, and I don't think he's gonna win it anytime soon,
Mm.
unfortunately. But moving it right along to La Liga, just one game to touch on. Out of nowhere, Atleti 5-2 Real Madrid. What went wrong here, Sam?
Dude. A
Atleti's
lot.
not known for scoring, bro.
No, exactly, and I was just coming off last pod of being like, "Dude, Real Madrid is rolling,
Yeah,
like 6 dubs in a row, undefeated in the champs, undefeated in La Liga." All this, like, coming in hot into this game, and Atleti really had just a slow start to the season, almost already looking out of it, at
yeah.
least from the, a title perspective and everything, but obviously they came in, really really down to win the game, and I'm sorry, Real Madrid went up in this game 2-1 in the first half, but just couldn't deal with all the goals. Atleti got a big goal before halftime to come back and equalize, and then in the second half it was just all Atleti. I think um they scored, I think it was in the 51st or 55th minute or something like that, and then shortly after that, they got a penalty. So, 2 quick goals in quick succession there, was just kinda the end of it for Madrid. Obviously, we had to kind of throw everybody in attack at that point, and they got one late with Griezmann scoring in the 93rd as well, but, yeah, wheels just kinda coming off, chances weren't there. We had all of the possession, but you're kinda used to that when you're playing Atletico, but,
Right.
um Mbappe's still on the score sheet, so he's been rolling early on in the season, but, yeah, I don't to be honest, I don't really know what went wrong, just not being able, like, we had a ton of the ball, but we just couldn't create any chances as far as on goal, just that super methodical, like,
Mhm, mhm.
defense that, Atleti is so known for, and
Yeah,
Simeone sets up so well is just impenetrable at times, and that was shown in this game, and huge win for Atleti to get back in that title race because Madrid was almost not running away with it. That's obviously too much, but um, there was some breathing room between them and the rest of the competitors, so it's definitely tightened up a bit.
yeah. Yeah, like I said, not every day that you see Atleti put 5, let alone pass Real
Never,
Madrid,
dude.
so,
Exactly.
huge win for them in La Liga, keeping that title race kind of afloat for sure, especially when it comes to Atleti. All right, moving on quickly. Only 2 games to really, highlight and take note of in the Champions League. Starting off with PSG Barcelona rematch of the semis, I believe last year
Yeah.
was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Barcelona falling short last year to PSG, who eventually were the winners of the Champions League. But PSG getting one over Barcelona once again.
Yeah.
No Ballon d'Or winner, Dembele. He's still rehabbing apparently from his injury.
Yeah.
Um,
No anybody for
yeah,
PSG this
no
game. Did you
anybody.
see that reel I sent you before I,
No,
I
I
went over here?
didn't.
Bro, basically reiterating what this guy was saying on the reel that I had sent Stallone. But this is a bad L for Barcelona. I think it's bigger than just losing against a good team in the Champions League. Like everybody was like, "Oh well, if we went to the final, like we would have beat them," and like all
Mm,
this stuff. And yeah, it wasn't a rematch of the semis because they played Inter Milan. Remember
mm,
that? And everybody was saying that if they went, they were going to beat PSG. And obviously the obvious Yamal and Dembele talk and
yeah,
everything. So there's that wrinkle too. And then PSG trotting out a team without Kvaratskhelia. That's always a mouthful.
that's a mouthful.
Without
Holy cow!
Dembele, Neves not ready to play. He was on the bench.
Yeah,
Um, who's the other winger that I'm blanking on right now? Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, and anyway, their left winger, he
oh,
was out.
Doué.
Doué was out. They're without their captain, Marquinhos.
Yep.
So, like, literally an entire B team playing against allegedly one of the best teams in Europe, which I think that you can make the case for at this point, obviously. But they definitely didn't play like it. Obviously,
No.
they scored one pretty early with Ferran Torres and everything, but they were able to come back with a couple. I mean, PSG had two guys leading the line I've even heard of, like Mayulu or whatever. He got the
Yeah.
first goal.
Uh-huh.
Right winger is like Mbai or something. Never even heard of him. Some academy boys out there, and then Gonzalo Ramos able to slot in a nice squared pass in the 90th minute to win against Barcelona.
Yeah.
So, what do you got to say about Barca just falling apart here against a B team, bro?
Stop
Yo,
playing the high line. I can't with the high line, dude. That was the thing that was talked about most in the pregame show. They were talking about like they live and die by the high line, and there's a time and place for it. But you play it without fail. And when you play a team that is this talented, not only this talented, but like probably the average age of the PSG squad was like 5 years younger than the average age of Barcelona. And it's just like it's inevitable in sports. Like they're going to be faster, they're going to be more fresh, they're going to just have the legs for longer. And it showed itself in the second half. Like we didn't throw as many subs as we should have on. And I mean, granted, we had a full strength squad. We were missing some of the players that we would normally play or throw on in that situation. But dude, I just can't with the high line. I get it's what Flick wants to do. I get it's how he thinks that they're going to win games. And the stats don't lie. Like they have the most offsides, catching teams offsides out of like I think any team in Europe right now. It's
yeah,
like, yeah, sure, that works, but like the 3 times it doesn't, it's a one-on-one with the goalkeeper every time. Like if you're not perfect on that one through ball,
mm-hmm.
it's a wrap. And I
Yeah.
think that's just kind of what we saw against PSG, bringing a B squad against our A squad and just taking it to us, man.
Yeah, yeah, and obviously I'm going to come off as a little bit of a hater here just because I'm a Madrid fan. But I think this is also an indictment on Barcelona not being able to get through on like on a team that's like they're not just missing one or two guys; they're missing like 6 out of the top 11 players that they have,
Right.
and not being able to make it count. You're only getting one past a depleted back line. Granted, they have Mendes who played fantastic, by the way.
Dude, so good.
And the depleted back line, you should be able to just have all the possession, all of the chances and everything, but they just weren't able to make it count. And like they had all their guys. And like even if you're gonna stick with the high line and everything, like against a front three that's not, not their first three that they would want out there,
Yeah.
still not being able to grind out a dub here and score more goals, I think is just a bad look for a Barca team that wants to be up there with the big boys. Obviously, coming off a domestic double last season, winning the Copa and the La Liga over Madrid. They're gonna have to get better, but also big props to Luis Enrique and his
Mhm.
coaching. Obviously, getting those guys ready, and even the academy boys being clear on the game plan and everything, able to not just get a result but get a huge win in champs. So
Yeah, absolutely. I always loved him when he was with Barca. Obviously, they probably wish they could have kept him too, but there was
he's
some
make,
sad circumstances why he had to step away, but
yeah,
good to see him back.
making a good case for being one of the best coaches, not just currently, but all time.
I
So
mean, he got PSG to win a Champions League. No one's
yeah,
done that out of everybody.
Barca's trouble winning side, that was with him, right?
Yep,
14,
that was with
15.
him. Their
Yeah,
best, honestly, some could say their best years were with him for sure.
yeah.
All right, fine.
MSN.
Yep. All right. All right, finally. Probably the surprise of the week in the Champions League. Galatasaray beats Liverpool 1-0. Again, I had to watch the highlights because European competition on at 3, still at work. So I don't know if you caught any of this, but what were your thoughts on Liverpool dropping points in the champions as well?
Yeah, I mean, kind of similar to what we were saying before. Liverpool grinding out dubs, leaving it super super late in the few games that they had early on in the season. Um, Galatasaray is like, I mean, they're a Turkish team, kind of scrappy, whatever. But we were talking about the transfers that they had
Yeah,
earlier
man.
on in the season, and they have some solid players that they were bringing in. Like Gundogan plays for them now.
Yeah.
Victor Osimhen, who bagged the goal to get the dub. They got Davinson Sanchez in the back. Lucas Torreira, who's a little bit of an older name, but he played for Arsenal for several years.
Mm-hmm.
So just some really solid players that kind of like a Real Betis situation, where it's just a lot of guys that maybe outcast or maybe a little bit older, farther along in their careers, but still able to ball out. Not necessarily guys that should be looked past at all. And obviously they proved that in this game, getting a really solid 1-0 victory. Not just obviously scoring, but being able to keep that high powered offense,
Yeah.
or that attack that Liverpool has with Ekitike and Isak and Gakpo on the left wing, and Verts has not looked good, dude.
No.
Like
Gotta get
I
him
would give
off.
him a pass the first 3-4 games, but he's been not great at all.
Gotta pull him. Gotta
So
pull him.
yeah, obviously they're not going to pull him anytime soon with the price tag that he
No.
commanded. But yeah, big props to them getting a big result in Liverpool. I think they have definitely some issues that they need to address. Obviously, they're not getting like blown out. They're not like out of these games and stuff like
No.
that. But definitely some things that they need to work on. And maybe Chelsea at the weekend is where they do it.
Maybe it is definitely a good get right game for them with how we've been playing. But we turn up against the big squads, man. That's
Yeah,
just
that's true. That's one
what
thing
we
y'all
do.
do good.
It might end up being like one of the best games of the season. We will see. But I think that's a pod, Sammy.
That is a pod.
We appreciate you guys sticking with us, tuning in. Yeah, coming at you guys. We don't normally do these face-to-face pods, but it's nice to get one in every once in a while. Definitely a little better to not have to worry about the internet connection. But
Yeah, finally.
we hope you guys would check us out on all of our platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and obviously on YouTube. Like and subscribe. That would really help us out a lot. We appreciate it, guys, and we will see you guys on the next one. Wow, I'm losing it. It's time to go to bed. See you guys on the next one. All right. Peace.